Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Cameron Mackintosh's new reimagined production of Andrew Lloyd Webber's classic musical, The Phantom of the Opera, is getting ready to hit the road with a new North American tour. It will start November 27th in Providence, Rhode Island. It is under the direction of Lawrence Connor, and I dropped by the rehearsal studio to meet the company.
Incredibly excited. Honestly, this is a role I've wanted to do since I was 14. I was a big fan the whole time I was growing up, and the whole callback process, which was about 7 months, I just thought, well, this is not going to happen, but I'm so honored to be this close, and to actually get it, I will not lie, there were some tears involved, and some screaming, and possibly a cartwheel or two.
Would you tell me when you got the call, how you got the call that you got the role, and what you were thinking?
I actually wasn't a call. I was in the back of a car in England when it happened. So I had just auditioned for Cameron Mackintosh. So it wasn't a call. I had to hold it together while I went to Heathrow. So there were some people in Heathrow who gave me funny looks because I called my parents from Heathrow.
So tell me what it's been like working on this role, what attracted you to him, how you're seeing him, talk about your director's, concept of this.
Well, I think it would be one of the great roles of all time, even if not a note was sung. I mean, it's a tremendous acting piece, and I think that's how Lawrence is approaching it. The text and the dialogue is very important in this version of it, and to the point that even as big a fan as I'd been, I had forgotten how smart the book and the lyrics really are, and how engrossing the story is. So for me, to take this character who kind of lives in extremes is every actor's dream. I mean, I sort of joke that the Phantom, when he's on stage, is either at a 5 or an 11. There's nothing in between, so you have to figure out a way as the actor to make that make sense. Everybody in the cast is just phenomenal, and they also happen to be nice people. Apparently Lawrence is really good at that, putting together really nice people who happen to be immensely talented too. I think they're going to surprise people. I mean, Julie and Ben are both just absolutely incredible.
What were your first memories of seeing Phantom?
First time I saw Phantom, I was 14, but I had already spent many hours singing to the CDs. At that point I had about a 4-note range, so I would just sing the 4 notes I could sing, and then everything else was falsetto, which was, I'm sure, really lovely. No. Yeah, I think I've probably seen it through the years like 6 or 7 times. But I just remember being blown away by the spectacle and the story, and the music is just so overpowering. I mean, you can't escape the fact that, if you go to Phantom, you are going to be moved by the music. It's almost frustrating how good it is. Even just studying, when I would be listening to the music, just in my apartment doing other things, and then suddenly I'd get to the end and I'd be like, why am I tearing up? Oh, that's why. It's just that good.
So have you put any of the makeup on already? Have you been a chance to work with the mask?
I have. I'm using a stunt mask right now, but the makeup is incredible and terrifying and different. And luckily there have been great advances in technology in that area too, so it's also more comfortable than previous Phantoms have had to deal with, so that's good.
The mask is so iconic. I'm sure this role is iconic to finally take on. So what was it like the first time you got to rehearse with the mask on? What was going through your mind?
Well, it really changes everything. I mean, it's sort of an actory thing to say, but when you look in the mirror and you see the completed costume or whatever, it takes you to a different place, a different level than you were in before. And certainly the mask is such a dramatic, as you say, iconic thing. It's almost like sharing a little piece of history. I mean, in addition to the musical, I mean, this story has had, all the amazing movie adaptations and the original novel, and there's a multitude of amazing history just in the mask, and when you wear it, you feel it. You feel the weight of that. Well, not to get too deep, but I think there's a reason certain stories keep coming up again and again and again, and this is in its own way, a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, which is, there's a version of that in every culture known to man, but this version is somehow more poignant because there isn't a happy ending, there isn't joy to be found by everyone. It's just, there's a reality to the characters that most versions of fairy tales don't have. And I think that everyone can identify with being an outsider and trying to understand and trying to fit in and being overwhelmed by passion, and all of those things are very compelling, and you can't get away from that. So I think it's there's a universality to the story in addition to the music, and the combination is just sort of irresistible, I think. I think that's why it's survived the way it has.
What are you looking forward to the most with bringing this around the country?
I'm just looking forward to surprising people. I mean, and introducing it to a new generation. I think that one of the best things that's happened for musical theater recently is that it's gotten some traction on television. And so that means that there's young people that might not have been exposed to musical theater who all of a sudden are very excited about it. And many of those people have never seen Phantom, and this will be their first time. And I remember being that kid in the Midwest sitting in the audience when I was 14 seeing it, and now I get to bring that experience to those kids, which is just going to be amazing.